Today is May 9th, 2015. This morning on The Porch, our production team shares their favorite jokes with you.
The best place for family. What are you waiting for? Where friendships run deeper. Come join us on the porch. So glad you're on the
porch. Well, we're here again for another exciting episode of On the Porch. And I wasn't sure I was going to be here. As I was driving yesterday on my way to a training, I was going to learn how to install solar panels. And I was cruising, having a great day. It was nice and sunny. It was a beautiful day out. I'm cruising, got on cruise control, heading down Route 69. Just loving life, listening to my favorite bluegrass music. And all of a sudden, the car just automatically seemed like it went into neutral. And I was just coasting. And the accelerator went way up, the RPM shot through the roof, and nothing was working in terms of trying to get it into gear. And so I stopped the car, coasted to the side of the road, turned it off, put it in park, sat for a minute, checked the transmission fluid, everything was fine, started the car up, tried to put it in drive, and I just kept coasting down the hill. So I sat in the car and luckily I had my cell phone. I made some phone calls, and the mechanic had a plan already. He had a car on the tow truck. He towed a car to me, took our car. Plan was he was going to tow the car to me, unhook it so I could drive to my training, and then he was going to drive our van back, or tow our van back to his shop. But he was a good 70 miles away, so I had some time to sit, and I figured I would write a little bit for today's show. I didn't have all my writing done yet. And I sat in the car and I was daydreaming and looking around, watching cars drive by, enjoying the sunshine, trying to get into that space where I could be creative and write and enjoy my time. And I looked out the window again. At one point I was looking down at my notebook writing, and I looked back up and I looked out my window, and I was surrounded by thousands and thousands of black flies trying to find their way into the van, trying to find spaces in between the windows, crawling in and out of the grill on the front of the car, trying to find ways to climb in and come in through the vent. And if you don't know anything about black flies, or if you know little about black flies, they're very, very tiny little flies. And if they find their way to you, they swarm, and they just bite and bite and bite and leave all these little red marks, and they kind of burn. For being such a small fly, they really hurt. Nobody likes black fly season. And so I started to sweat a little bit, trying to figure out what was going to happen, because I knew at one point I was going to have to get out of the car, and they were just going to swarm me. And I felt like at one point they actually had the van rocking back and forth, trying to figure out how they were going to get me out. And I looked, and there was one on the inside of the window. One had figured out how to get in. And another thing that we learned about black flies a few years ago is that if they get into a space like a car that has its windows up, they get claustrophobic. So they think they've made it to you, and then they get scared, and then they fly out and they try to find their way back out. So this black fly had made its way to me, but now is panicking and now trying to get back out with its buddies. And I was trying to get this black fly to relax. I was trying to get myself to relax, because I knew if I could get the black fly to relax, it would find its way back out. And then if it found its way back out, I would know how it got in, and then I could plug that hole and keep any other black flies from getting in. And so what do you do when you've got a panicked black fly that at any moment could turn on you and start eating you and sucking your blood? Well, I told it a joke, and it calmed right down. And it crawled across the window and into the vent, and out it went. So I closed all the vents. Now the black flies couldn't get in. But I still had this massive task of what I was going to do when I got out of the car, because they're not claustrophobic outside. And so once I get out of the car, I'm fresh meat. They're going to suck me dry. And I just started having these visions of just a me, like a human raisin stuck inside the car when the mechanic got there, and it was just going to be, just shriveled up skin and a baggy t-shirt and a hat and a very shocked look on my face. And all the mechanic would have been able to do was tow me back to civilization and then he wouldn't have to worry about the car, I guess. I don't know. So this was going through my mind, and then I thought, well, if one joke worked on one fly, how many jokes do I have? Because I could identify one black fly at a time and tell it a joke, or maybe several black flies at a time and tell them jokes and get them to fly away. And in that moment, you know, all growing up and in telling my stories, people like to tell me how funny I am. I don't know a single joke. And so I told the 3 or 4 that I knew, and I got 3 or 4 black flies to fly away. But it didn't make a difference. It didn't make a difference at all. And so I was stuck there, trying to think of more jokes. And then a tractor trailer drove by. And you know, if you're ever standing on the side of the road, or if you're sitting in your car on the side of the road and a tractor trailer drives by, it's like it sucks your car toward it. You can feel it rock your car. And when the tractor trailer drove by the car, it sucked all the black flies with it. And so for about 1 minute, I was black fly free. So when the tow truck pulled up, I just sat there. And he didn't want to get out of his tow truck either, but he did. He got out and he started unhooking the other car, and I thought, oh, the black flies will fly over there and attack him, and then I'll be free to get out. But they didn't. They just stayed at the van. And so he kept saying, come on, your car's ready. You're going to be late for your training, which I already was, 2 hours late for the training. And he said, come on, come on, come on. And I wasn't getting out of the car, and then in my rearview mirror, I saw a tractor trailer coming down. And I motioned for him to move, and he couldn't see me all that well through the carpets of black flies that had built up on the car, and he couldn't really see me, but I think he noticed that I was gesturing, and he looked, he saw the tractor trailer, he stepped off to the side of the road, and the tractor trailer cruised by, and it sucked all the black flies away, and I got out of the car, and I ran past the mechanic, and I said, call me, and I got in the car, and I took off. And I made it back home safe. And I was so happy when I got home, and I was telling my family the story, and all they cared about was, what are we going to do about the transmission? And I didn't care about the stupid transmission at that point. It had let me down. It had failed. But jokes saved my life, sort of. And so I was trying to relay this message, and they finally got it. And so now, here we are, and we've compiled lists of jokes to share with the world, and hopefully you'll remember some, so the next time you're in a situation where you're surrounded by black flies, maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to save yourself with a few jokes, and we want to pass them on to you. So thanks for being here. Gina Holsapple, you're on the porch.
Oh, I eat watermelon and I have for years, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all day. I like watermelon, but it wets my ears, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
The grass tastes good to a blue cow's mouth,
Singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
but I like to from the south.
Singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, Mr. Gloom, be on your way. If you think you're gonna worry, you can stop it in a hurry, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. A woodpecker pecks till he gets his fill, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. But the woodpecker pays 'cause it's on his bill, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
I eat my cakes with molasses jam,
Singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, Mr. Gloom, be on your way. If you think you're gonna worry, you can stop it in a hurry, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Oh, I hate to see it, hear a chocolate drop, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. But I like to hear a lollipop, singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
everything went wrong, but it turned out right,
Singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, Mr. Gloom, be on your way. If you think you're in a hurry, there's a bear that you all know well, but just what a wally is, I can't tell. I wouldn't know a doodle if one came along, but Polly Wolly Doodle makes a darn good song.
You know, with the rush around mentality of our society today, you need reliable transportation. Reliable automobile transportation can't happen without gears, and gears won't work unless they're all working together. And gears can't work together without help from our sponsor, Transmissions. Yes, folks, you can get there with a transmission of your own. Presently, it's almost impossible to find a car without a transmission. But you don't want just any transmission. You want yours from the #1 maker of this incredible part, Transmissions. Nobody wants to be driving on a beautiful day to an incredible place for some fun work and have their car come down with an issue. Especially if they are humming along at a legal speed on cruise control, listening to some of their favorite bluegrass music. Furthermore, nobody wants to be in the aforementioned scenario and have one of their car's crucial parts just fail without warning. In addition to that, they then don't want to sit on the side of the road having to wait for 2 hours because their mechanic shop is 75 miles away. That's why everyone who requires a car chooses a transmission. Transmissions are reliable. If you were to look inside your transmission, you would think you had just opened a box of security and joy. There's no worry or anxiety in there. Save that for other car parts. Transmissions are reliable. Go ahead, talk to it. And when it feels like the conversation's over, it will just shift gears so you don't have to. Without skipping a beat. It'll coast easy from topic to topic. And if it thinks you've missed something, it'll reverse and let you cover the same ground and be sure you know where you are. Thank you, Transmission. Let's just park it here. No need for hazard lights. Transmissions are reliable. It will start out slow and get you back up to cruising speed in no time. So the next time you hear your gears grinding, just remember it's you, not the transmission. Take the same lesson from your transmission that Lionel Richie did, because transmissions are in fact easy like Sunday morning. Transmissions, reliable. And today's sponsor of On the Porch Radio Hour.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Beats.
Beats who?
Beats me.
Ow!
So we're going to start out with our favorite animal jokes. So Matthew,
Yeah.
two fish are in a tank. One turns to the other and says, "How do you drive this thing?"
What do you call a camel with no humps?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hump free.
So I've got one. My wife told me to stop impersonating a flamingo. I had to put my foot down.
My grandfather has the heart of a lion and a lifetime ban at the local zoo.
You can never lose a homing pigeon. If your pigeon doesn't come back, what you've lost is a pigeon.
What did the fish say when it ran into a wall? Damn.
So what do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator.
What did the buffalo say when his son left for college? Bison.
Lily, what do you call a penguin in the desert? Lost.
What do you give a sick bird? Tweetment.
Why did the pig stop sunbathing? He was baking in the heat.
So what do you call a funny chicken? A comedy hen.
Why can't a leopard hide? Because he's always spotted.
And why don't dogs make good dancers?
I do not know.
Because they have 2 left feet.
Why did the pony have to gargle?
I do not know.
Because he was a little horse.
Well, what do you
You can say unicorn.
well, what do you call a group of rabbits hopping backwards?
I do not know.
A receding hairline.
Why is a fish easy to weigh? Because he has his own scales.
What is out of bounds?
What?
An exhausted kangaroo.
Look at that. Well, kangaroo.
Well, what do you get when a hen lays an egg on the barn roof?
What?
An egg roll.
What do you get if you cross a cocker spaniel, a poodle, and a rooster?
I don't know. What do you get?
A cocker poodle do.
Hey, so why does your son say cluck, cluck, cluck?
Because he thinks he's a chicken.
Why don't you tell him he's not a chicken?
Because we really need the eggs.
What do you get from a pampered cow?
Can't imagine.
Spoiled milk.
I was going to say that. Spoiled milk.
What do you call cattle with a sense of humor? A laughing stock.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Cows go.
Cows go who?
No, silly. Cows go moo.
Well, what happened to the lost cattle? Yeah, nobody's heard.
What kind of horses only go out at night?
What?
Nightmares.
When does a horse talk? When he wants.
What type of horse can jump higher than a house?
I don't know.
All of them. Houses can't jump.
Come on. What sickness do horses hate the most?
I don't know.
Hay fever.
Hey,
Why did the pig become an actor? Because it was a ham.
oh, dang it.
Speaking of
Pigs don't eat ham.
Speaking of pigs, what do you give a sick pig?
I do not know. Hey?
Ointment.
What's the most musical part of a turkey?
A turkey man.
The drumstick.
What do you call it when it rains turkeys?
I don't know.
Foul weather.
You know, I just ordered a chicken and an egg off the internet to see which comes first. I'll keep you posted.
All right.
All right, I got one more. What animal has more lives than a cat?
I don't know.
Frogs. They croak every night.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Madame.
Madame who?
Madame foot stuck in the door. Open up.
When I was looking for funny songs to sing or humorous songs to sing, one of the songs that came up was an old Woody Guthrie song called Riding in Your Car. So we get to sing like we're cars for a little bit in this song. It's fun. Take me riding in the car, car. Take me riding in the car, car. Take you riding in the car, car. Take you riding in the car. Click, clack, open up the door, girls. Click, clack, open up the door, boys. Click, clack, open up the door. Take you riding in the car. Rattle in the front seat, climb in. Rattle in the back seat, climb, climb. Rattle in the car. Take you riding in the car. Engine it goes. Engine it goes. Engine it goes. Take you riding in my car. Trees and houses walk along. Trees and houses walk along. Take you riding in my car. Riding in my car. Ships and little boats chug along. Ships and little boats tug along. Ships and little boats chug along. Take you riding in my car. I'm gonna send you home again. I'm gonna send you home again. Take you riding in my car. I'm gonna let you blow the horn. I'm gonna let you blow the horn. I'm gonna take you riding in my car. Take you riding in my car.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Juno.
Juno who?
Juno, I'm still out here, right?
How about some puns? You got any good puns?
I do. Whiteboards are remarkable.
I got one. Can February, March?
No. But April, May.
You know, I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I've been tripping all day.
What do you call a man with no body and no nose?
Nobody knows.
What's a bagel that can fly?
A plain bagel.
You know, why can't your nose be 12 inches long?
Because then it would be a foot.
When I found out my toaster wasn't waterproof, I was shocked.
You know, I gave my dead batteries away free of charge.
If you can think of a better fish pun, let me know.
Well, change is hard. Have you ever tried to bend a coin?
I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
I'd tell you a chemistry joke, but I know I wouldn't get a reaction.
Well, I bought a ceiling fan the other day. It was a complete waste of money. All he ever does is applaud and yell, "I love how smooth it is!"
Eating a clock is time-consuming.
So, what is the difference between a nicely dressed man on a tricycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle?
A tire.
Yesterday, I accidentally swallowed some food coloring. The doctor says I'm okay, but I feel like I've died a little inside.
Oh.
I did a theatrical performance about puns. Really, it was just a play on words.
Well, it was an emotional wedding. Even the cake was in tears.
I try wearing tight jeans, but I can never pull it off.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Canoe.
Canoe who?
Can you please let me in?
You're listening to On the Porch Radio Hour. We'll be back in just a minute.
What's happening in Central New York is brought to us by iHeart Oswego. The waterfront photography of Laura Brazic will be on display at the Oswego Public Library through May, including an opening reception with the artist on May 14th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Romeo and Juliet runs May 15 through 23rd at the CNY Playhouse. Visit cnyplayhouse.com for more information. The 11th annual Sterling Stage Folk Fest is May 21st to 24th. Visit sterlingstage.com for more information. The Oswego Music Hall hosts the Jean Rowe Band tonight at 7:30 p.m. and Natalia Zuckerman on May 30th at 7:30 p.m. Visit oswegomusichall.org for more information. The CNY Arts Center hosts a Writers Cafe the last Sunday of the month with the next session on May 31st. The Arts Center is also currently offering adult painting classes and writing classes. Visit cnyartscenter.com for more information. The Red Room Sessions at the Wooden Apple Farmstead is a time for songwriters, musicians, and anyone else who wants to build their musical skill and knowledge to get together. We share songs we are working on, bounce musical ideas off each other, and we usually have time to just play a little music. This is a supportive environment where all levels of songwriting and musical experience are welcome. The next session is May 31st at 6 p.m. The Wooden Apple Farmstead offers a wild edible CSF through the summer months. This is a specialty niche of the community-supported agriculture. It's an opportunity to learn much more about the food that grows right around us. Between late May and early September, participants will receive 7 boxes with 2 wild edibles in each box. The box will include information about each plant, including identification tips and a recipe to try. Some of the wild edibles will already be prepared before going into the boxes. All members of the CSF will be invited to participate in foraging identification walks throughout the growing season. Contact the Wooden Apple Farmstead on Facebook or at 315-591-0711 for further information and to sign up.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Justin.
Justin who?
Just in case you forgot, I'm still waiting to come in.
How about some music jokes? Did you hear about the pianist who kept banging his head against the keys?
Yeah, he was the one playing by ear.
What do you call a fish musician?
A piano tuner.
What do you get when you drop a piano down a mine shaft?
A flat minor.
Well, what do you get when you drop a piano on an army base?
A flat major.
What's the difference between a piano and a fish?
You can't tune a fish.
What did the piano player say to the tightrope walker?
You better C sharp or you'll be flat.
What's the difference between a musician and a pizza?
A pizza can feed a family of 4.
Ouch.
Hello?
Yes, I've come to tune your piano.
But we didn't send for you.
No, but your neighbors did.
What's the difference between a piano, a tuna, and a pot of glue?
You can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna.
What about the glue?
Yeah, I knew you'd get stuck there.
Why are pirates such good singers?
Because they can hit the high seas.
How do you fix a broken brass instrument?
With a tube of glue.
No.
So I have a story. When Beethoven passed away, he was buried in a churchyard. A couple days later, the town drunk was walking through the cemetery and heard some strange noise coming from the area where Beethoven was buried. Terrified, the drunk ran and got the priest to come and listen to it. The priest bent close to the grave and heard some faint, unrecognizable music coming from the grave. Frightened, the priest ran and got the town magistrate. When the magistrate arrived, he bent his ear to the grave, listened for a moment, and said, "Ah, yes, that's Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, being played backwards." He listened a while longer and said, "There's the Eighth Symphony, and it's backwards too. Most puzzling." So the magistrate kept listening. "There's the Seventh, the Sixth, the Fifth." Suddenly, the realization of what was happening dawned on the magistrate. He stood up and announced to the crowd that had gathered in the cemetery, "My fellow citizens, there's nothing to worry about. It's just Beethoven decomposing."
Hey, Gina.
Hey, what?
Have you heard about those corduroy pillowcases?
Now?
Yeah, they're making headlines.
Knock, knock.
Who's that?
Sarah.
Sarah who?
Sarah, reason you're not letting me in.
We're gonna sing our favorite Roger Miller song.
Oh, you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. But you can be happy if you've a mind to it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Oh, you can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. You can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. You can't take a shower in a parakeet cage. But you can be happy if you have a mind to it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Well, you can't go swimming in a baseball pool. You can't go swimming in a baseball pool. You can't go swimming in a baseball pool. But you can be happy if you have a mind to it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Oh, you can't drive around with a tiger in your car. You can't drive around with a tiger in your car. You can't drive around with a tiger in your car. But you can be happy if you have a mind to it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Oh, you can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. You can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. You can't go fishing in a watermelon patch. But you can be happy if you have a mind to it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. Oh, you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. But you can be happy if you have a mind to it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Knuckle down, buckle down, do it, do it, do it.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Isabel.
Isabel who?
Is a bell working? 'Cause knocking is not.
So what's brown and sticky?
A stick? What's red and bad for your teeth?
A brick.
Why did the gum cross the road?
I don't know.
It was stuck to the chicken's foot.
Thanks. That was good. What's white and can't climb trees?
A refrigerator? You know, I haven't slept for 3 days because that would be too long.
The first time I got a universal remote, I thought, man, this changes everything.
What's the difference between a red apple and a green apple?
They're both red except for the green one. What's the plumber's favorite vegetable?
A leak.
Well, I don't know.
A leak.
Go ahead.
Why do birds fly south in the winter?
Because it's too far to walk. What would you do if an elephant sat in front of you at a movie?
Miss most of the film.
Yeah. What would George Washington do if he were alive today?
Scream and scratch at the top of the coffin.
What do an eagle and a mole have in common?
They live underground, but not the eagle.
Why did the milkman wear a white belt?
To keep his pants up.
Well, then why do you call it lunch meat?
Because it's meat you eat at lunch.
What's the best thing to do if you find a gorilla in your bed?
Sleep somewhere else. What's red and smells like blue paint?
Red paint.
All paint smells like that. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ruby.
Ruby who?
Me, Ruby. I've been out here so long, you've forgotten who I am.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
Oh, come on, buddy. No need to cry. We're just joking. Come on in. Hey, welcome to the party, Ruby.
I've got a wallet in my pocket and a big brown bear. I've got a lover undercover and an easy chair. I've got some fresh cold potatoes and a yellow bus. If I was really that cool, would I be someone you love? Oh, it's good to be here with you near me. Oh, it's good. You are you and I am me. Oh, with you near me, you know I just can't whistle, so I hum a tune. And though I try to listen, but I speak too soon, and I would rather have a flower than a diamond ring. And I feel so much better every time I sing. Oh, it's good to be here with you near me. Oh, it's good. You are you and I am me. Oh, with you near me. I've got a couple strong opinions and a little luck, and even if I work from sunrise, would it be enough? You know, I've always got a minute and an open door, and if you walk right in, I'll give you even more. Oh, it's good to be here with you near me. Oh, it's good. You are you and I am me. Oh, it's good to be here with you near me. Oh, it's good. You are you and I am me. With you near me. With you near me.
What do you do when an elephant sneezes?
I don't know. What do you do?
Get out of the way.
Why did the fish die? Why?
Why?
Because it tooted.
So we live on a farm. I think we should tell some good old farm jokes.
Probably
Well,
should.
Let's give it a shot, eh?
Yeah. What did the farmer say when he lost his tractor?
Where's my tractor?
I've got another tractor one. A magic tractor drives down the road and turns into a field.
Hey, why does the chicken coop have only 2 doors?
Because if it had 4, it would be a chicken sedan.
What did the mama cow say to the baby cow?
It's past your bedtime.
What new crop did that farmer plant?
Beats me.
Why shouldn't you tell a secret on a farm?
No, because the potatoes have eyes and the corn has ears.
Farmers earn a meager salary, come home beat, and just want to read the pepper, turn up the covers, and dive into bed.
And dive into bed.
What did the baby corn say to the mama corn?
Where's Pop?
Why did the cabbage win the race?
Because it was ahead.
Hey, what's the scarecrow's favorite food?
Strawberries.
What's orange and sounds like a parrot?
Carrot.
Why do hens lay eggs?
Because if they dropped them, they would break.
How do chickens bake a cake?
From scratch.
What does an evil hen lay?
Deviled eggs.
Where do tough chickens come from?
Hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah, well, why can't a rooster even get rich?
Because he works for Chicken Feed.
Oh, man. Melvin Windrunner remembered it as being during June in 1970, and he had chosen to go to a Catholic church in a town near Tonkahogen, and it was his first wedding to be an altar boy in, and he was at the pre-wedding rehearsal, and it was getting late, and the priest hadn't showed. All the altar boys were just hanging out, didn't know exactly what to do, and Melvin decided it was time for him to take charge. So he got his robes on, and he got up on the altar, and he spread his arms out real wide, and he said, "Okay, guys, this is how it's going to go. I'm going to stand here, and you're going to stand there, and you're going to stand there, and you're going to stand there. And the priest is going to be standing right here. So I'll stand here for now, and I'll be the priest." And he spread out his arms real wide again, and he broke out into his best Southern Baptist minister. And he said, This is how the priest is going to address the crowd. He's going to say, "Yes, sir, my brothers and sisters." And from that point on, he just kept going and going, and he was just about ready to give his big grand finale, his big ending, and he was getting ready to ask for an amen when wham! From behind he got smashed in the ear by the priest. Apparently the priest had come in through the back of the altar and had been watching for a few minutes, and the other altar boys were in such shock they couldn't warn him. And not only did he have to walk home with a throbbing ear, but his mom met him at the door and said she had just gotten off the phone with the priest and said that he really needed to think ahead before he tried to do something like that again. And it was a few years later that Melvin remembered once again a time when he was in high school. And it was the teacher this time that forgot to show up for class. And everybody was sitting in their seats waiting for the teacher to show up, and Melvin decided it was time for himself again to take charge. So he stepped up in front of class, and he walked over to the teacher's desk, and there was a blank sheet of paper sitting on top of the desk. And with real confidence and authority, Melvin picked up that piece of paper, pretended to read it, walked out in front of class, and said, Mr. Straszewski asked me to deliver class today because he knew he was going to be late. I wanted to make sure everybody was here, and I was just trying to work up my confidence. But we were talking about the Civil War last week, and he's asked me to describe this battle during the Civil War. And for the rest of class, Melvin kept all of his classmates in awe as he recounted this battle from the Civil War. And this was the first time he was talking to his grandkids, and this was the first time that he'd ever told anybody that the story that he told about that battle that day in class was completely fabricated. As he stood up in front of class, he just read off of this blank sheet of paper, or at least made it look like he was reading off this blank sheet of paper. Unfortunately, when it came time for the test, nobody did really well because he had given such detail and such convincing notes on this battle that everybody wanted to recount it in their tests. And the teacher was really unsure how they all had given such consistent information with one another, and it had nothing to do with anything he'd ever learned about in the Civil War. Skip ahead a few years later, Melvin was a senior in college, and he decided to go to that town's Common Council meeting, and he was just kind of hanging out, taking notes, and he overheard some of the other members of the Common Council talking about a trial that was coming up in the town court that week. And Melvin got really excited, and he decided to show up for that hearing. And as he sat with the rest of the crowd waiting to hear what the witnesses and what the defendant all had to say, the defendant was sitting all alone at the desk in front of the judge, looking around. And Melvin thought, this is my time. I've done this before. I know how to fill in. And I bet I can help out. And that's really all he ever wanted to do. He really just wanted to help out. It wasn't about standing up in front of people and talking and being the center of attention or putting on some performance. It was just, he thought he was being helpful. So he walked over to the defendant and said, "Do you have a lawyer?" And the defendant said, "Yes, he's supposed to be here." Melvin said, "Well, I think I can help." So he looked up and he said, "Your Honor, I'm filling in I'm filling in as this man's lawyer until the lawyer arrives. I'm from his office, and I have some words I'd like to say about the defendant." And just like that day in class, Melvin went on to talk about what incredible character and what an upstanding citizen this defendant was. And Melvin wasn't even sure what the defendant had done, or even why he was having this hearing and why he had to sit in front of the judge. But he went on and on and on until the lawyer walked in. But the lawyer, unlike the priest and unlike Melvin's mother, just sat in a chair behind him, waited till he was done. Melvin walked back and sat next to the defendant. The lawyer leaned forward and whispered in Melvin's ear, "You've done well, son. It's time for you to leave." And that's what Melvin did. And as he explained this to his grandkids, they, like everybody else throughout Melvin's life, just sat in awe and listened. Shocked looks on their faces at times, smiles at other times, even close to tears at other times. And so Melvin said, "I've got one more story I want to tell you." And he pulled a really old piece of paper out of his pocket, and he unfolded it. He said, "I've got a letter here from a young man wanted to thank me for the work that I did for him at another occasion when I stood in for someone." So he went on to read this letter. And it was very moving, very touching. And the young man in the letter talked about how Melvin had saved his life that day, even though he was just talking and pretending to be somebody that he wasn't. And so finally, when he got done reading the letter, one of the grandkids said, "Well, why is it that you do that? Why is it that throughout your life you found all these times to stand in for other people and to fill in when somebody was missing?" And Melvin looked down at the letter and he said, "Because of this." And he held the letter up. And he flipped it around and he pointed at where the letter was written. And nobody knows for sure if it was that paper or not. But it looked like it could have been. As old and brown around the edges as it was, and little holes where it had been folded and unfolded so many times on the same lines. And right where his finger was, right where Melvin was pointing to his grandkids, where that letter should have been, was a blank piece of paper. And Melvin just smiled and pointed at that blank piece of paper. And he's saying, "This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone? Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden." Well, I'm not sure how you did it, but we've made it through. We've made it through another episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that we had everybody listening on Concert Window, and that the folks that came out to the farm are here. And if you're listening on our archived episodes on the website, I want to thank you too, because it's people like you that keep us going. And it's jokes like the jokes that have been sent in from our Concert Window listeners that keep us going. It's jokes like, what does a rain cloud wear under its clothes? Thunderwear. and what made the fish's wish come true? His fairy godmother. And with those wise and touching words, I send you off, hoping that they stay with you, at least for the next week, until you can tune in to the next incredible episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. Peace to your journey.
On the Porch is a production of the Wooden Apple Farmstead with host and writer Matthew Wood. Our musical director and sound technician is Gina Holsapple. Our stage manager is Ray Monet. Find information about past shows, being on the porch, and much more online at ontheporch.weebly.com.